Main man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. Fight fans, y'all see it going down. Canelo Alvarez stops Sergey Kovalev in the 11th round. I cannot believe it. I'm just like baffled by watching that fight, man. I'm a little thrown off a little bit, man. Canelo Alvarez remaining in the high guard for most of this fight, coming forward, standing in the high guard, tight, closed up. Sergey Kovalev working his jab for most of this fight, keeping Canelo Alvarez on the edge of his jab, but not throwing nothing with no conviction. Didn't see so many shots with conviction coming from Sergey Kovalev. And I'm just like baffled by the fight. I mean, Sergey Kovalev going into the 11th round, I had him up on the scorecards. I thought he was still outboxing Canelo Alvarez. Though Canelo Alvarez was, coming forward, tightening up, and every time he get within range, he would let his hands go, throw hard hooks, throw hard uppercuts downstairs. It just wasn't enough. And I thought Sergey Kovalev, in my opinion, was honestly up and outboxing Canelo Alvarez. I mean, though Sergey Kovalev didn't throw nothing with conviction, he was outworking Canelo Alvarez. The jab, he kept Canelo Alvarez at bay for most of the fight. And I thought it was working. Then out of nowhere in the 11th round, pop, pop, you know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez stops Sergey Kovalev. And I'm just like, I was a little baffled by it. You know what I mean? It was a close fight. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like Sergey Kovalev was up leaps and bounds on the scorecards. But, and Canelo Alvarez did make it a lot closer in the middle rounds. But still, I just didn't see that one coming. It's almost like Sergey Kovalev just kind of gave out. That just kind of just like gave out. You know what I mean? I guess the biggest thing that I'm wondering about, when you think about the weigh-in, when you think about how he had to crunch and get down to that, make that weigh-in 3 times, when you think about the fact that he just came out of the ring 2 months ago, I mean, was he worn out? A 6-week camp, was he worn out? Capadonna 24 says, stage, Boxing Logic United, you know what that was. D-Lo 404 boxing, I had Kovalev up a ton. Canelo didn't do enough work. Salah Farad, do you think it was rigged, man? Stopped. Yeah, you know what, man? Hey, I'm just saying, man, something was real fishy. I had Sergey Kovalev up, man, like I said, going into the 11th round, and then just like out of nowhere, 2 shots. And then there was like no body work from Canelo. I mean, body work was there from Canelo, but it wasn't what we thought it would be. Like, we thought that the game plan would be Canelo Alvarez going right downstairs, maybe 3-4 straight rounds, pressing downstairs constantly, digging into Kovalev's body, countering Kovalev to the body. He did it in spurts throughout the fight, but nothing consistent. And that's why I'm like, I'm lost. I'm just thrown off by the damn fight. You dig? Boxing Logic says Kovalev was up 8-2. Damn, Lion Bar, Fatigue wins again. Fatigue is a hell of a boxer. First yard, now Kovalev. Man, Fatigue is a hell of a boxer. Just playing. Yeah, all right, man. I mean, look, man. I'm just saying it's the only explanation that you can give to say that the reason that Sergey Kovalev went down was because he had to be worn out. That making that weight cut 3 times to try to make weight, you know what I'm saying? And people gonna start wondering now, was them scales rigged? I don't know, but 3 times to make weight, and then on top of that, fighting 2 months ago, short camp, you know what I mean? Went 12 rounds with Anthony Yard. I mean, was he just worn out? I don't know. Kovalev only give Canelo the measuring jab. Yeah, and that's the thing. Kovalev, like I said, he didn't take much risk in this fight. This was if you Sergey Kovalev fight, this is the most less risk that you have ever seen Sergey Kovalev take. No conviction. Other than, Canelo Alvarez, he had a lot of Canelo's gloves because Canelo was in that tight guard. Sergey Kovalev just kept flicking the jab out there, But even the right hand wasn't coming with no conviction. He wasn't mixing it up, going upstairs, downstairs. To be honest with you, though I had Sergey Kovalev up, he still looked real basic. He still looked like something was taken away from him. Like, that wasn't the Sergey Kovalev that we normally see. Chin Smoke says, Canelo baited Kovalev. Yeah, man. Kovalev threw no punches with conviction. Yeah, man. Newborn says no excuses. I had Kovalev I had Kovalev up, but he fought like Canelo was Tyson. I was wrong. Hey, newborn, it's all good, bro. I mean, look, man, it's just something wasn't right about D'Lo. Kovalev never threw the right hand with conviction, even when he landed around the guard. And that's what I'm saying. Like, where was the conviction from Sergey Kovalev? I mean, he threw with almost no conviction in this fight. Almost a pity pat jab, a measuring jab, if you will. Nothing more. Didn't mix it up upstairs, downstairs. Straight basic, straight up and down, no special effects. I mean, was he worn down from the yard fight? Was he worn down from the weight cut? It's the only thing that I can think of, Joe. That's the only thing, unless something else was going on. I mean, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? Bang for Buck says the fix was in. Oh, man. Everybody loves Raymond says he attacked y'all but played patty cake with Canelo. It just didn't make sense. Bro, I've never, even if you say the Crusher is not the Crusher that he used to be, he has never fought in such a pity-pat fashion like this. And then he takes a middleweight, a guy coming up 2 weight classes, and pity-pats him? Dog, it just didn't feel, it just didn't seem right. But look, man, I mean, look, I don't want to rob Canelo too bad. I mean, what Canelo Alvarez did in this fight was a monumental feat. Regardless of how y'all feel about the fight, he got the win, he got the stoppage. There's going to be some talks that we got to have about pound for pound in the placement of Canelo Alvarez. But, man, it's just a baffling looking fight. You know what I mean? A baffling looking fight, Joe. For real, man. D'Lo 404 Boxing said he should have acted like Canelo was that woman's dog. Yeah, he should. Hey, he should. Exactly. He should have went in there, man, acting like that was one of them or something. Joe, it's like, yo, man, I don't know, man. Maybe, and that's another thing, man. Sergey Kovalev got these court cases playing in the background. Look, man, I don't want to make no excuses, but, Joe, I've never seen him look so weak, look so just didn't take any chances, didn't take any risks, didn't mix it up. Just looked basic, just basically jabbed his way through the fight and then just wore itself out in the 11th round. It just didn't seem right to me, man. It just didn't seem right. Greg Hill says Kovalev was backpedaling all night long. I mean, Canelo coming forward. Canelo felt so comfortable coming forward. He didn't feel any pressure to not come forward. It's almost as if Kovalev's power, wasn't enough to keep Canelo from just walking in. I mean, Canelo just felt so comfortable just walking in on Kovalev, like he knew that Kovalev wasn't going to throw anything with conviction. It's almost if he knew something, like, yo, he ain't going to throw nothing hard at me. I'm just going to keep standing right here in front of him. I'm not going to use no upper body movement. We didn't really see that much upper body movement from Canelo. Canelo didn't do nothing that was overly complicated. He didn't do anything that was new. He didn't do anything that we should think that would have gave Sergey Kovalev any problems. He stood right there in front of Sergey Kovalev for most of this fight. So that's a shock, man. I'm really in shock that Kovalev fought so poorly. And aside from the fact that you got to give credit to Canelo Alvarez, you got to just say, look, man, that weight cut and him fighting so soon between fights had to have some kind of effect on Sergey Kovalev. It just had to, man. It just had to. Muhammad Hamatola says Kovalev was not mentally 100% in the fight. He had a retirement word on his mind, especially with the check that he's getting. Possibly. I said, in the build up to this fight, I don't see Sergey Kovalev coming back to fight. Hit the thumbs up for me as y'all coming on up in here tonight, man. I don't see Sergey Kovalev standing around boxing beyond this fight neither, truth be told. I said they're building up to this fight, even though we heard with Kathy Duva saying that Kovalev had deals in place even after win, lose, or draw of this fight. He can either go back to ESPN or maybe he'll go to the zone. He has, deals in place, but I don't think Sergey Kovalev hangs around, man. I mean, Sergey Kovalev is up there in age. He's been through a lot of hard fights. I mean, he's getting a fat check right here, man. This is as good of a check he's going to get probably from anybody else. I can't think, even if he fought the Bivens or the Beterbievs or anything like that, he's not going to get a check, nothing like he got with Canelo Alverez. So I just don't see him hanging around much longer, man. I mean, I don't know. He lost his belt tonight. I don't see it. I just don't see it, man. Maybe he fights his way from the ground up, but I just don't see it. Chismoke says you got to give credit where credit is due. You do. Definitely got to give credit where credit is due, but just something just don't seem right about this fight, though, man. But anyway, if we gotta just like you say, get the credit. So I will say this: Canelo Alvarez now moves itself back into the pound for pound discussion. I mean, this win tonight, stopping Sergey Kovalev. I said before this fight that I even thought that Sergey Kovalev would win this fight. I changed up my pick at the last minute. I was leaning towards Canelo Alvarez, but I said to myself, with Kovalev, he still got to have a little something left in the tank in order to beat the good little man. You know what I mean? But man, I couldn't been so wrong, bro. Like Sergey Kovalev just looked so weak, man. I mean, just so weak. Just so weak. But you gotta the conversation for pound gotta go on, and we gotta include Canelo Alvarez, whether you put him in your top 5 or your top 10, even the things with the PED excuses, man. I mean, look, the fact is he came up to the full-fledged weight class of 175 pounds and he beat Sergey Kovalev. That is not an easy feat for nobody at 160 to do. But Canelo made it look so easy. I'm just like, what the hell? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone with this shit, bro. Like, what the hell, man? Aaron Mann says he couldn't jab himself to a win. Yeah, through with no conviction, bro. Through with no conviction. Newborn says, hey, yo, did you hear that the zone lady say Canelo knows Kovalev can't punch? That's the thing. Kovalev was known as the crusher. He's supposed to be a big puncher. I mean, he didn't take no. I mean, my thing is, you also got to give credit to Canelo Alvarez for the counter punching. I mean, because Canelo was having that tight guard and he was coming forward. But whenever he got within range, he was letting his hands go. And he was letting his hands go much more explosive than Sergey Kovalev. I mean, Canelo Alvarez was much more faster. He was much more explosive. He took much more risks. I'm just still shocked. Even though he was doing all of these things, Sergey Kovalev still was outboxing him for primarily most of the fight because he kept that distance so well between him and Canelo for majority of the fight, and Canelo just wasn't seemingly busy enough. But when Canelo would let his hands go, he was much more explosive, much more faster. He was connecting more better. And outside of a jab, an occasional short right hand here and there from Sergey Kovalev, it wasn't nothing much. And I'm just like, yo, man, I mean, was it the counter punching of Canelo that had Sergey Kovalev so honest? I mean, basically, Sergey Kovalev fought an honest fight. He fought an honest fight. We did not expect a light heavyweight to fight such an honest fight against a super middleweight or a middleweight. I'm just like, yo, maybe what Andre Ward is saying is real, man. The crusher maybe have left the building. You hear me, though? He has left the building. Rocket Strikes 89 says Kovalev fought scared, man. Damn. He never sat down on his punches, giving out love taps, but Cole was winning before he got gas. I agree. And who knows? I got to get a look at the judges' scorecards, man. Who knows if the judges were even really giving Kovalev the benefit of the doubt, given he wasn't taking as much risk. I got to check out the judges. Definitely got to check the judges' scorecards, but he wasn't taking enough risk. And if a judge have Kovalev down on the scorecards, they may say, hey, this dude just wasn't taking enough risk for me, man. He was just jabbing his way throughout the fight on the back foot. He is the bigger man. Cosmetically, looking at the fight, it's never a good look to see the bigger man constantly on the back foot, not taking no conviction, shots with conviction against the smaller man. It's just not a good look. I wouldn't be surprised if judges honestly would not have had Sergey Kovalev winning this fight. I did, though. I thought he was just outworking Canelo. Muhammad told us says Kovalev, Triple G, and Chocolatito all overrated because of the Lampley's, the Fishes, and the Raphaels of the world. Do you agree? Kovalev had his time, man. They all had their time. As for Triple G, maybe so. Chocolatito, you might got a point there too. But Kovalev, I think he had his time. I mean, he was reigning at one time. I mean, he got some good names under his belt. But Chocolatito and Triple G, we might have had that conversation, man. Lion Bar says Canelo was faster than Kovalev, but the slowest I've seen him since Floyd. Put the beating on him. Canelo was fast. Yeah, but it's just so much that his work rate wasn't up, Lion Bar. His work rate was so low. And we've never, even in Canelo, I think, honestly, we've seen Buddy McGirt in a corner yelling at Sergey Kovalev. You're fighting at his pace. You're fighting at his pace. The one thing you also have to give Canelo credit for, he set the pace of this fight. He set the pace of this fight. He made Sergey Kovalev fight at his pace. He made Sergey Kovalev basically made Sergey Kovalev do what he wanted him to do. And you got to give credit to Canelo Alvarez for that. Canelo I'm just shocked the fact that Sergey Kovalev fought such a piss poor fight when Canelo didn't do anything, like I said, that I thought would give Sergey Kovalev problems. He didn't do the upper body movement. He didn't do the overly aggressive going to the body. That the one thing that we all thought that would give Sergey Kovalev problems. Canelo didn't do that. He just really stood right there in front of him, allowed Sergey Kovalev to get off, and ate the punches and stopped Sergey Kovalev. It just seemed like a backwards ass fight. None of us would have had Canelo winning like this. I mean, even if you had Canelo Alvarez winning, how would you have had him winning? Going to the body, going downstairs, putting pressure sometime on Sergey Kovalev, and maybe Sergey Kovalev couldn't stand up to the body attack. Not constantly walking him down the entire fight and letting your hands go and stopping him upstairs, not stopping him downstairs, but stopping him upstairs. It almost seemed like Canelo Alvarez was the bigger man tonight. And I'm telling you, if you want to say, okay, if you want to stay away from the conspiracy theories of a fix was in, because I see y'all, and it's hard not to believe. I hear what y'all saying, man. But if you wanted to stay boxing with it, right, you would have to only think that Sergey Kovalev had to been depleted from such a short being between fights, fighting 2 months ago, crunching down to make weight for this fight. You would have had to think that those things had an effect on Sergey Kovalev. It's the only explanation that you will honestly have in your brain to say why the hell that Sergey Kovalev fight with such low conviction, fight not taking any risks against the smaller man. It will be the only boxing logic that would make sense. Other than that, the crusher has left the building. Simple as that. The crusher has left the building. You know what I mean? The crusher has certainly left the building. But the reality in the super chat, much love, famo. Keep doing your thing, homie, all day. Appreciate that love, man. We up late tonight, man. It's going on 2 a.m. over here on the East Coast, man. Thank goodness for daylight savings time, man. It saved us an hour, man. But, yo, man, this fight went down late, man. Thank you for the love, homie. Thank you. I appreciate that love. Yo, hit the thumbs up if y'all coming on in, man. If y'all some newbies around here, come on through and subscribe. Hit that bell, man. Yo, man, we're fam over here, man. We always putting in work constantly. You know what I'm saying? All day. Rocket Strikes 89 says Kovalev is dumb and an embarrassment. He did exactly what Danny Jacobs did. I don't have Canelo pound for pound, though. He has too many catchweights and stipulations on his fight. Totally understand that, Rocket Strikes 89. You absolutely right. He fought just like Danny Jacobs did. Danny Jacobs became real timid against Canelo. Danny Jacobs was the bigger man against Canelo. But, I mean, the difference is that the Canelo actually came up in weight to meet Sergey Kovalev at his weight class. It makes it look worse than the Danny Jacobs fight because in the Danny Jacobs fight, at least they were in the same class. He came up and stopped the much bigger man. None of us, I mean, at least in the fashion that he did it, none of us was expecting this, man. None of us, man. None of us. Hit the thumbs up hit the thumbs up for the fam tonight, man. Muhammad Matola says, yo, for his next fight, Canelo has to face one of these 5 opponents, Charlo, Andre, Golovkin, or Smith. I don't see him going anywhere near Beterbiev. You know what, man? Let's talk about that. The future of Canelo Alvarez. Now that this dude is holding belts in how many 3 weight classes right now? Middleweight, super middleweight, and now light heavyweight. Canelo Alvarez can go anywhere he wants. I mean, boxing is literally his playground. Like, this dude can go anywhere he wants. I ain't never seen a fighter with this much titles in 3 weight classes. Is that even legal? Is there any laws against this shit? I have never seen a fighter holding all of these belts in this many weight classes. He can go anywhere he wants. It's honestly, I can sit here and tell you what Canelo may do next, but I'll be here all night long. I mean, he has options at middleweight. He has options at 68. He has options at 75. I don't know where Canelo goes. So many options. I mean, so many ways to go. Now, where would I want to see him go? Without a doubt, Jamal Charlo. Because he's the WBC franchise champion. And what the WBC did for Canelo, hooking him up, taking the mandatory off the table, I think that's foul. If Canelo really want to win a lot more respect back, I mean, you know, he's going to gain respect from this win tonight. But if he really want to gain more respect in a lot of fans' eyes, he'll say, you know what, WBC, thanks for trying to hook me up. But I'll still take on Jamal Charlo. That would be noteworthy. That would be my number one choice. I'd love to see Canelo Alvarez go. But realistically, let's just keep it real. I don't know where he goes, bro. He can go to Demetrius Andrade. He can go to Callum Smith. He can go to Beterbiev or one of those other light heavyweights. I don't know which way he goes. You see Caleb playing out here barking today. Everybody wants Canelo Alvarez. Ain't no telling where he goes. But as far as pound for pound, man, I mean, a win like this, I understand what you're saying, Rocket Strikes 89, and I had those same concerns, bro. I said earlier, Canelo Alvarez has a lot of shit. He just got a lot of stuff with him, man. When you talk pound for pound, it's like, okay, you think of the people he beat, but then you think of the catchweights, and then you think of the PED scandal, and then you think of the cherry picking, and it's like, yeah, but he just went up 2 weight classes and beat Sergey Kovalev. So it's a lot of I'm torn, but I think he enters at least minimally my top 10. He enters my top 10, maybe even top 5 minimally, because this win is still a huge win. Regardless of how bad or how you may believe the fix was in the night or whatever happens, the fact is he stopped Sergey Kovalev. And when you put that in the grand scheme of things, that's a huge win. Anthony Yarde couldn't do it. I mean, that's a huge win. That's a huge win, man. I mean, damn. I mean, am I not to believe that Canelo maybe even beat Anthony Yarde? I mean, the way he knocked out Sergey Kovalev tonight? I don't know, fam. I don't know. Word of the day, he says he's pound for pound for now. You think he's number one, word of the day? You think he's number one? You think he's number one? Chin Smoke says, what's next for Canelo, or should I say who? That's what I'm saying, Mo. I just don't, it's hard to say because the range is so big. Well, if I had a gut feeling, I mean, looking at the landscape of things, I would love to see Canelo call out Andre Ward. That would be a perfect scenario too, man. What if Canelo Alvarez called out Andre Ward? How would y'all feel about, who y'all favoring in a fight with Canelo Alvarez and Andre Ward? Are y'all favoring Andre Ward or y'all favoring Canelo? That'll be another one on my Christmas wish list that I love to see. But where he goes, man, it just, who knows, bro? I just honestly don't know. He says he doesn't want to deal with Demetrius Andrade because he out here calling him born. I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe he goes back to 68 to take on Callum Smith. I don't know. It's hard to say. William Davies says Ward loses right now. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, look, man, Ward can come back to light heavyweight. Him and Canelo meet at 175. Ward, you think Ward might need to tune up? I mean, Ward totally is not going to fight nothing like Sergey Kovalev fought tonight. Ward going to take much more risk. Ward going to put much more hard lever on Canelo Alvarez than what Sergey Kovalev did tonight. I think Ward and Canelo will be a hell of a fight, man. For real, that'll be a hell of a fight. Rocket Strike says Ward straight punishing Canelo. Chin Smoke says Canelo versus Ward is a crazy matchup. David Gregory today, I think he'll fight at 168. Well, if he goes to 168, David Gregory, we talking Callum Smith? I mean, I'm sure Eddie Hearn's got to be over there trying his best to keep Callum Smith in place. And he's got to be promising. He's got to be waving the Canelo Alvarez carrot right in front of him. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, if he go to 168, I think that'd be the only fight that makes sense for Canelo Alvarez. Given he has the WBA regular and Callum Smith having the WBA super, it's the only, and, you know, Callum Smith fighting for Eddie Hearn. They all do business together. It makes sense. Maybe he goes there to take on Callum Smith. That would be a big challenge for Canelo. That would be a major challenge for Canelo if he was to take on Callum Smith. Callum Smith is a tall, long fighter as well. Very tall, fights long. It'd be interesting if Canelo would be able to make it to the inside of Callum Smith like he did with Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding had them same schematics. You know, technically, if you think about it, Canelo been beating the bigger fighter in his last few fights. Daniel Jacobs was bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Callum Smith was, Rocky Fielding was bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Sergey Kovalev, bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Canelo is literally going up and he's beating bigger men now, man. Like, and to see him tonight actually stop the bigger man. This is what I'm saying, fight fans. Regardless of all the shit that Canelo got with him on the pound for pound conversation, you gotta think about what he's doing, man. I mean, he is literally going up in weight, beating bigger men. He stopped two of them. Stopped bum-ass Rocky Fielding, and he stopped Sergey Kovalev in higher weight classes. That means something. That means something, man. That means something. That means something. David Gregory says, I'm gonna think that Canelo was done fighting for the IBF. Yeah, well, he's not gonna really pursue that. After what went down and he had to give it up and everything like that, he claims he was pissed off at Oscar De La Hoya, how they couldn't work out no deal. I mean, Canelo got to understand, man, sometimes you can be the cash cow and you can be this diva and you can think every sanctioning body is the WBC and you can tell them what to do. IBF ain't like that, bro. They're not trying to hear none of that. You Canelo Alvarez and postponing your mandatories and stuff like that. Canelo needs to understand you can't always cut deals because of who you are. Just take on he should have just took on the mandatory, truth be told. You know what I mean? Rocky Strikes 89 says, I got Callum Smith beating Canelo. Canelo's not all that to me. Slim, he got a dark cloud over him. I mean, look, man, I do want to hear some more about the drug testing involving tonight's fight, man. I didn't really talk much about it leading up to this fight. So I'm just thinking, since that Canelo Alvarez is the WBC franchise champion or whatever the case may be, he should be involved in year-round drug testing. He should be involved in the WBC clean boxer program. So I didn't talk much about it leading up to this fight, but I do wonder about the drug testing, man. I mean, Canelo Alvarez do got the dark cloud over him. We can't take that away. And it's too recent. So, if anybody wondering like, yo, man, why you wondering about that? Damn right. You know what I mean? I want to know what's up with the drug testing. I do. Rocky Strike says, I got Callum Smith. Oh, you already read that. Marcus Davis, if Canelo didn't stop Kovalev, who you thought was winning the fight before the knockout? I thought that Kovalev was up. I thought that Kovalev was up by like one round, man. I had him up. I had him outboxing him up by one round. I thought it was close. I didn't have him up by much, but I did have him up by like one round. You know what I mean? So I thought Kovalev was putting him on. I thought he was outworking Canelo for most of the fight. I thought the jab, was landing a lot. He wasn't throwing with much conviction, but he was clearly outworking. I'm sure if I look at the punch stats, I'm sure he outthrew Canelo, by a good substantial margin. So he clearly outworked Canelo and he put the jab. And Canelo just didn't do enough. I mean, he was letting his hands go in spurts. But still, Canelo was landing the hardest shots. And a lot of those rounds that I gave to Canelo Alvarez, it was because of a lot of the shots that he would land. His counter punching ability was looking sharp tonight. He was countering upstairs. He was countering downstairs. I mean, he was doing a lot of good things. He just wasn't doing enough of it. And so I had Sergey Kovalev up on the scorecards going into the 11th. David Gregory says, in Canelo's last 4 fights, did we think the other guy was going to win? Maybe Daniel Jacobs. I thought Daniel Jacobs had a good chance. But Rocky Fielding, hell nah. You know what I mean? Gennady Golovkin, who knew? You know what I mean? But as far as Gennady Golovkin and Daniel Jacobs, it was up in the air. You know what I mean? It was up in the air. Rocky Strike says, that man, what do you think if you found out Canelo wasn't enrolled in the clean boxer program? Then I'll be asking questions. I'll be thinking some things are suspect because the rules clearly states that the champions in the top 15 of the WBC should be enrolled in the clean boxer program. There's no gray area there. He should be enrolled in the clean boxer program. And I'm sure for anyone else who talked about this fight, the reason that they probably did not bring up drug testing is because a lot of people are assuming that Canelo Alvarez is involved in the WBC clean boxer program. I mean, he's a champion, franchise champion or not. And even if he wasn't, he just recently got this dumbass franchise belt. You know what I'm saying? So he should have been enrolled in the clean boxer program, meaning that he should have been randomly being tested all throughout the buildup of this fight and throughout the year. I'm just saying. But I got my problems with the WBC clean boxer program. They don't always get around to testing every fighter. A lot of fighters fall through the cracks. I honestly, truth be told, I would like to know even if they even paid for additional VADA testing in this fight, like Eddie Hearn always does. I want to know that. I am very curious to know that. I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard anything about them paying for the extra VADA testing, say like what Gennady Golovkin did to Canelo Alvarez. When Gennady Golovkin and Canelo fought, they paid for additional testing to go deeper than say what the clean boxer program or any other sanctioning body drug testing or state drug testing would do. They will pay extra money. I wonder did they do that in this fight? I seriously doubt it, though. I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Law Survivor says, I don't know about Canelo pound for pound. I can't think of anyone that he beat in their prime or without getting the gifts decisions. We're going to do a live stream. I'm going to do it in front of the mic when I can sit down with a piece of paper and we're going to write down the names. We're going to evaluate Canelo's resume. Given that he's gotten this win against Sergey Kovalev, it's time to seriously evaluate it and see if he's worthy to be let back into the pound for pound discussion. Like I said before, fight fans, I know y'all feeling some kind of way about the fact that, yo, the dude has the PED scandal and the dude has the catch weight issues. But does this win redeem him enough in y'all eyes to say, yo, I got to at least put him, you got to at least say top 10. I mean, this is he went up 2 weight classes and knocked out what could be perceived as the #1 fighter at the weight class. Yo, I mean, and then on top of that, coming off the victories against Gennady Golovkin, coming off the victories against Daniel Jacobs, those were not done at catch weights. Beating, even if you throw Rocky Fielding in there, even though he wasn't much and he had a secondary title, that's still Canelo going up in weight. He did not fight the best guy at that 168 weight class. I mean, it's tough. I mean, Daniel Jacobs, Gennady Golovkin, and now Sergey Kovalev, though, man. Shit, that's a heavy lineup of names, man. That's a heavy lineup of names. Yo, we're gonna have this conversation on the mic, fight fans, all day. Marcus Davis says Canelo don't throw a lot, but his timing is on point. Accuracy, he caught Kovalev a few times with the hook, and Kovalev took it well. Then in the 11th round, he hurt him with the hook. He did hurt him, but you know, I do think he hurt him with that hook. But I think it was a mixture of Kovalev honestly just being worn out, and this is just keeping it in boxing terms. This is just not using conspiracy theories and saying the fix is in. I think it was a mixture of Kovalev being worn out and taking a good shot. I mean, Canelo just wasn't landing in overall abundance throughout the fight to get Kovalev to the point where just 2 punches would have taken him out. So clearly Kovalev had to be worn down from fighting so soon, putting himself right into a training camp after going 12 rounds in a grueling fight with Anthony Yarde. You've seen him struggle to make weight. Clearly the writing was on the wall. There had to be some drainage or some sort of, he had to be worn down by the 11th round because Canelo just didn't do, I mean, though he had his successes throughout the fight, his counterpunching ability was on point. And like you said, the hooks was landing. He was catching Kovalev periodically with some good shots, but just not enough to get Kovalev to the point where 2 punches took him out. And that's why I say, man, Kovalev had to be drained, bro. He had to be tired out and worn down from fighting so soon. He's up there in age. I mean, his motivation is probably not what it used to be. His hunger is not what it used to be. He got court cases playing in the background. He still got to go to court with the lady who Patsy beat up and hid in the bushes and sitting out there drinking coffee all night, hiding in the bushes. You know what I'm saying? He still got to deal with situations like that. So I don't know, man. It just seemed like it just seemed too easy for Canelo Alvarez, and none of us expected that. Ruben Valen says, how many guys did Mayweather beat in their prime? He lost to Castillo and Maidana first fight. Canelo fought difficult fighters. He's moved that no one wanted to fight at a young age. It's not so much that people question the names and the people that he's fought in, Ruben. It's the people, the thing that people question is how he's fought him. Like he's fought him at certain weights Canelo weights and catch weights and stuff like that. There was always stipulations involving Canelo Alvarez, and these are the things that turn off the fans of Canelo Alvarez and keep them away from the pound for pound discussion. It's not the people that he's fought, because like I told you earlier, Daniel Jacobs, Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, you know what I mean? These are some damn good names to have victories over. And to any other fighter, if they had victories with names like that, people would be like, hands down. Oh, he hands down number one. But given that Canelo has so much crap with him, then the PED scandal. So this got a lot of probably boxing fans like, yo, how many fights was he voided up? You know what I mean? These dark clouds over Canelo Alvarez is what keep him out of these type of discussions. Not the list of names that he's fought. He has a damn good resume, man. You can't take that away from him. Rosa Escado says this fight was fixed. Man, I'm telling you, man, something didn't seem right about this fight. Anybody who's saying the fight was fixed, I can't officially say that on this platform, but I'm going to tell you like this, man. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm going to tell you something was super weird about this fight. And I'm sorry. I just feel like that in my gut. Something was super weird. Like I said before, I felt like I'm in a Twilight Zone watching this fight. Like, what the hell did I just watch? Canelo didn't do nearly enough. I mean, not that I just didn't see it, man. Kovalev looked much more stronger in the Anthony Yarde fight. Much more stronger. I don't know. Muhammad Sola says, how come nobody from the media mentioned Kovalev being a racist and a woman beater all day? All day. All day. It's like they just don't even mention like who Sergey Kovalev really is. I'm with you with that 100%, bro. Nobody brought up his court cases. Everybody act like it didn't exist. Nobody act like this dude ain't the biggest racist in the world. No one ever questioned him about that. Sergey Kovalev making off with the bag, Joe. And on top of that, to hear Kathy Duva say, man, oh, yeah, he's still straight even win, lose, or draw. He can go back to ESPN. We can go fight over there. If he would have won, he could have stayed over on DAZN. Like, yo, man, Sergey Kovalev, man, he's an asshole. And he is a racist and woman beater all day. And people do need to talk more about it. He gets a serious pass with that shit, man. He truly do. Somebody said Kovalev took a dive. Everybody gonna start... Yo, man, just a lot of y'all are just in shock like I am. A lot of y'all just like don't know what the hell y'all just watched. A lot of y'all saw a Canelo Alvarez that didn't do nothing overly special but counterpunch and could not figure out why didn't that Sergey Kovalev pull the trigger? Or should I say punch with conviction? Why was Sergey Kovalev so damn honest as the bigger man? This is why it's going to lead to speculation like the fix is in, because it's like, what the hell did I just watch? How the hell out of nowhere in the 11th round, pow, pow, just like, bam, like, what the hell? Like, what the hell was that? I don't get it, man. Why did he, one thing Sergey Kovalev is really known for is mixing it up. Upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, down, the jab upstairs, the jab downstairs, moving, hitting you upstairs. I didn't see him doing none of that shit. Like he wasn't taking no chances, wasn't punching with no conviction, sitting on no punches. It's almost as if, like I told y'all before, Canelo was the bigger man. This fight cosmetically just looked terrible, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. This shit was crazy. You think the rehydration laws affected Kovalev all day? All day. Something wasn't right about this fight. Sergey, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, if you think about everything that went on building up to this fight, it was a perfect storm for Sergey Kovalev to honestly not be, fighting so close between fights. 3 attempts to make weight, having 1 hour to come back to make 175 pounds. Have we ever seen Sergey Kovalev in a situation like that? The rehydration. These things are all perfect storms to make Sergey Kovalev look the way he looked. And then not to mention you count his age. I don't, like I said before, man, I don't want to diminish Canelo Alvarez win too much, but I just did not see, then like I said, this wasn't even the best Canelo Alvarez that I've seen. That's the crazy part. Like, this wasn't even the best version of Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen Canelo Alvarez fight much better. In the Gennady Golovkin fights, Canelo Alvarez showed much more of his tools. In the Daniel Jacobs fight, Canelo Alvarez showed much more of his tools. In this fight, he literally stood there in front of Sergey Kovalev, coming forward, tight guard, high guard, and unleashing on Sergey Kovalev whenever he got in range or whenever he seen the opportunity for a decent counter shot. We've seen Canelo Alvarez do much more than that in the ring. Everybody was giving Canelo credit for having great upper body movement. He didn't have to do that in this fight. And that's why we all like, what? What the hell did I just watch? He made this shit look fairly easy. Truth be told. I mean, like I said, from a scoring point of view, I had Kovalev up by 1 round. But the things that Canelo was doing, and it's only mainly because of the workload that Sergey Kovalev was doing opposed to Canelo Alvarez's. Moving, jabbing, constantly landing jab. Constantly, even though a lot of his punches were landing on the glove, but constantly letting his hands go. And that's the main reason I think I had him up majority of the rounds. But clean, decisive punching, man. And then, I mean, all went to Canelo Alvarez. I mean, I don't know. Just crazy. Sergey Kovalev, he maybe need to hang it up, though, man. Or maybe he just need to just take some time off. If Sergey Kovalev does decide to hang around boxing, he absolutely needs to take some time off. I mean, fighting 2 grueling fights like this, getting stopped. He's just recently was just not too long ago stopped by Elian Alvarez. So getting stopped so close between fights, I mean, really not a big money fight on the horizon right now for Sergey Kovalev now taking this loss. If he doesn't retire, stay away from the sport for a while. I mean, 6 months minimum. Sergey Kovalev should stay away from a boxing ring. I mean, because 2 grueling fights. I mean, he clearly right now his gas tank is on E. I mean, nothing. No pops, nothing. Orlando Finney in the building. What up, my brother? What's up, homie? Kovalev good paid to take that L. In order for Ward to come back and fight Canelo in a mega fight. I hope so, man. I hope so. Andre Ward versus Canelo Alvarez. Let's see it. Canelo is all about high-profile fights. Canelo is all about big names. How big will it be for Andre Ward to come out of retirement to face Canelo Alvarez? And I told y'all before, look, man, we know Canelo Alvarez likes to go for advantages. One of the biggest advantages he'll see in an Andre Ward fight is Andre Ward has been out of the ring. Ring rust. Hit the thumbs up for me as y'all coming on up in this joint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for the homie. He'll see ring rust. He'll see ring rust. Maybe that could lure Canelo Alvarez to a fight with Andre Ward. Man, I hope they can do that, Joe. Andre Ward is affiliated with ESPN. ESPN does deals, they send their fighters over to DAZN. DAZN, I can see DAZN paying for that fight. Andre Ward made it evidently clear if y'all want him to come back, it's going to take a hell of a lot of money. What level of fight will bring the money that Andre Ward will be seeking other than the Canelo Alvarez fight? Man, I hope they do it, man. I hope they do it. That's wishful thinking as hell. Stylistically, does Canelo Alvarez want to deal with what Andre Ward brings to the table? Andre Ward has been criticized for many years by a lot of boxing fans for being boring. Something that Canelo Alvarez don't like. Canelo Alvarez not in it to face elusive targets. He doesn't want to fight elusive fighters, which baffles me in a Charlo fight because Jamal Charlo was not an elusive fighter. Jamal Charlo was staying there and trade with Canelo Alvarez just like he likes. But whatever. You know what I mean? But whatever. But as for Andre Ward can fight in that style if he needs to. If he needs to win in that style, he will fight in that style. Remember how Andre Ward fought Carl Froch. And he will clearly fight in that style to beat Canelo Alvarez if he needs to. Canelo wouldn't like that very much. But Andre Ward also has dog in him. We've seen him in the Kovalev fight, stopping Sergey Kovalev to the body. So Andre Ward has dog in him too. I don't know. It depends on Andre Ward on what type of fight he would want to make it. But, man, I'd love to see that fight. That'll be worth Andre Ward's time. I think that's a big enough name to lure Andre Ward out of retirement. I mean, man, that's wishful thinking, but I'd love to see that fight. William Davies says Ward is also walking around at 200 for the last year, 25 pounds to lose. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. See, all of these things that Canelo Alvarez would see to his advantage. That's why I'm shocked that Canelo Alvarez wouldn't put his foot on the gas for that fight. Man, look, the boxing media, I ain't heard nobody really bring up Andre Ward's name. Have y'all heard anybody mention it? I have heard nobody bring this question to Canelo Alvarez. Would you face Andre Ward? I mean, the zone is in the business of throwing out all this money for these fighters, right? Give Andre Ward what he asked for. Give a big fight for Canelo Alvarez. That would be a mega fight for the zone. And they could bring out, honestly, some good subscriptions with a fight with Andre Ward. I'm telling you, man, those two fighting demographics together, man, they will bring a whole load of subscriptions to the zone if they was to think about Andre Ward. I'm telling you. Chin Smoke says Ward would need a tune-up. Yeah, he'll need a tune-up. But Canelo Alvarez, once again, will see that as an advantage. Let's go right on in. You know, and Canelo ain't gonna sit around and wait. He gonna bring it to he could put it to Ward like, look, take this deal right here, right now. I see Andre Ward taking it, man. I see him taking it without a tune-up. I mean, I'm with you. Technically speaking and rightfully speaking, of course, Andre Ward would need a tune-up. But for Canelo Alvarez, Canelo wouldn't let him get a tune-up, and you know that. Rocky Strike says Ward ain't trying to go through all of them loops and stipulations just to favor Canelo. Andre Ward is a true competitor and a winner. And yeah, you know, and Andre Ward, even though a lot of boxing fans, when he was an active fighter, man, Andre Ward would get terrible criticism from boxing fans. I still remember that time. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is with Andre Ward, man, is that he sees himself highly decorated, and he don't short himself. People don't know, and I don't know if y'all remember, but Andre Ward, when he fought Sergey Kovalev, he took Sergey Kovalev to the cleaners in the business. Like, Sergey Kovalev didn't get no pay-per-view revenue, none of that stuff. Andre Ward sees himself as a star too, and he's going to have a lot of demands on Canelo Alvarez. But so did Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs drew lines in the sand. He drew lines in the sand with Canelo, and he drew lines in the sand with Gennady Golovkin. But Andre Ward is definitely going to draw lines in the sand. And he ain't going to go for a lot of stipulations. He ain't going to go for no catch weights. Unless the check big enough. I don't know. But Canelo Alvarez, man, he might bring a big enough check. But he won't have to pay him more than he paid Sergey Kovalev. They say Sergey Kovalev got a $3 million purse. But when you add all the bells and whistles, the TV rights and stuff like that, Sergey Kovalev will walk away with $12 million. Once you add in taxes, he has to pay 2 promoters and Kathy Duva and Bob Arum at Top Rank. He's been co-promoted by both of them. He has to pay both of them, pay taxes, pay trainers, managers, yada, yada, yada. How much is Sergey Kovalev walking away with after this fight? Andre Ward ain't going to let that happen to himself. Andre Ward going to go into a Canelo fight demanding much more money. Much more money. He is not going to get this type of deal that Kovalev got. Kovalev people, man, has always been bad negotiators. They let Andre Ward take them to the cleaners in both fights. They've always been bad negotiators, truth be told. William Davies says, I'd pay for it. I'd pay for it too, man. I'd pay for it too. I'd pay for it too. Rocky Strike says, Andre Ward would never put himself in a trick bag. Nah, he wouldn't. He sees him, he thinks too highly of himself, as he should. As he should. Let's be real. If what we saw tonight was real, this would be a dangerous ass fight for Ward. Can't say he win for sure. Can't say he win for sure, but I say it'll be a good ass fight. I don't know, Mo. I just think that Ward just would not even do what Sergey Kovalev did in there tonight, man. Like, it's no freaking way in hell that Andre Ward is going to jab his way through a fight. Ain't no way impossible. Ain't no way in hell, bro. I mean, ain't no way in hell that Andre Ward is not going to take risks and punch with some conviction throughout of their fight. I don't see it, but I am impressed. I mean, the one thing we got to say, like I said, Canelo's power, it carried up to 75, but I want to think that what Kovalev has been going through as of late, with the fighting so recently, draining himself, making weight 3 times, the court cases. I mean, I honestly got to say that this had to play a part. I mean, given the fashion that he was knocked down in. I mean, 2 shots just out of nowhere, pop, got him out of there. And then he didn't even get up. Couldn't even, well, the ref waved it off as soon as he pretty much hit the ground. But, I mean, he was out of it. He was out. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Muhammad told us says if you have to pay ain't nothing left of your check. Yeah, man. Ain't no telling how much Kovalev gonna really be walking away with tonight, man. He may not even really coming off like that, truth be told. If Sergey Kovalev, out of the 12 million that they're speculating that he gonna make, if he walks away with 5, he'll be lucky. And that's what you get for facing the cash cow of boxing. If you walk away, but it's the sad part about it, even worse, is that there's no one else. There's no one else that Sergey Kovalev will make a check like that with. Nobody. Nobody. He'll be back to his regular whatever he's been making. It's nobody else, bro. Nobody else. Rocky Strike says, this is why Canelo is not the best to me. He sets the deck against his opponents to favor him. He's never been in a fair fight. You got a point there, Rocky Strikes. And that's what I was talking about leading into this fight. Every time that I hear of a Canelo Alvarez fight, the first question that hits my mind is, what advantages that Canelo Alvarez is trying to get? What advantages, what corners is he looking to cut? Is it the weight? Is it a rehydration clause? What is it? I mean, in this fight, it became to me earlier on clear as day what advantages that he was looking to get. And that was to put a 36-year-old, 37-year-old fighter who just coming off grueling fights, putting him immediately back into the ring. That was clearly the advantage that Canelo Alvarez etched out for himself going into this fight. People may say, well, man, that's not fair. You know, you're taking away. No, I mean, it's clear, man. It's clear. There's a reason why Dimitri Bivol wasn't chosen. There's a reason why Better Beef wasn't chosen. And it's mainly because he see that what Sergey Kovalev has been going through. And grueling fights have been what Sergey Kovalev has been dealing with. And that's just facts. That's just facts. Max says, where the hell was Kovalev jab that stopped Yard? Where was the straight right that dropped Ward? Where the hell was Kovalev? Shaking my... Hey, yo, man, I have no idea. I'm with you. Where the hell was the Crusher? Andre Ward told us going into this fight, the Crusher has left the building. The Crusher doesn't exist no more. I mean, Andre Ward, I'm going to tell you right now, man. Andre Ward is going to be running around the cameras and bigging himself up like I did that. I'm telling y'all, right? Andre Ward is going to be trying to take credit for the reason that Sergey Kovalev looked the way he looked is because of what I did. Not forgetting that what Elian Alvarez just stopped him after he stopped him. You know what I'm saying? So, but Andre Ward is going to be running around like the reason that Sergey Kovalev is not no longer the Crusher. He's going to at least be alluding to it. No, Andre Ward, he's not going to just come out and say it, but he will allude to that he has a lot to do with that. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. Marcus Davis says, if Canelo go back down to 68, I'm surprised he won't go for David Benavidez. Both Mexican fighters. Benavidez is flat-footed, and he's not a mover. But he is young, though, and bigger. All day. All day. I mean, that'll be a good fight. But you also know David Benavidez does business with Al Heyman, and he's operating on the side, on the PBC side, so politics may stop, that whole situation. We'll see. But, yeah, I like to see that. I like to see, I mean, honestly, Canelo needs to stay away from Caleb Plant. I think Caleb Plant would be a problem for Canelo Alvarez. I think Caleb Plant, fast fighter, explosive fighter, very coordinated, very focused, very hungry. Right now, that Canelo Alvarez don't want to deal with that. And you know what? I also want that. I'm sorry, this just hit me out of nowhere. I said leading into this fight that, remember, Canelo Alvarez had knee issues. And I said against Daniel Jacobs, his mobility didn't look like it was into. He did not have to use his mobility tonight. He felt comfortable to take the Kovalev fight because, truth be told, that bad knee, he didn't have to use. He didn't move around on Kovalev like that. He didn't even have to worry about his knee giving out on him because he didn't use it. He stood right there in front of Kovalev, scooting forward, high guard, tight guard. That's a shock, bro. I mean, Canelo Alvarez knew a lot. He scouted his opponent very well. He strategically picked him very well, and he knew that he didn't have to use that knee. Damn, that's crazy. That just hit me, man. Chismoke says Kovalev was waiting for counter body shots. I mean, it's hard to even show. It's like, man, he just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. It seems like to me that the fighter that was waiting on the counterpuncher was Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo was just standing right there in front of him, and whenever he would let his hands go, clearly his punches looked like they had a lot more thunder on them than Kovalev's punches. They were even affecting Kovalev much more different than what Kovalev's punching was affecting Canelo. I mean, the Crusher has left the building. I can't say it enough, fight fans. The Crusher has left the building. So it is what it is, man. Look, man, we'll talk more about Canelo Alvarez going forward, about his pound for pound placement. We'll do that on the mic. We'll do that on We Talking Boxing when I'm officially in front of the mic. For everybody that slide through or just see me for the first time, catch me on We Talking Boxing every Wednesday, every Saturday, right here on Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Go ahead, hit the thumbs up for me, man. If on the way out, if you didn't hit it on the way in, man. Hit the subscribe button also if you new around here, man. Like I said, we a boxing fan, man. But baffled. William Davies says, yes, I'm baffled still. I'm baffled too. Just baffled. Twilight zone of a fight, bro. Twilight zone of a fight, man. Look, man, it's late. I'm going horse. Y'all enjoy y'all night, man. We going on almost 3 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast, man. Yo, man, enjoy the rest of y'all night. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. I will probably either be on here tomorrow. If I don't be on here tomorrow, I'll probably do a live stream either Monday or Tuesday. I may get a day of rest or so. But hell of a fight. But we will be talking about the placement on the pound for pound list for Canelo Alvarez. And we'll sit down and really evaluate it, man. Real talk. But he did it, man. He did it. He did it. Salute to you too, Muhammad Amatola. Salute to everybody that slid through. The homie Rocket Strikes 89. William Davies in the building. Manny Rodriguez. All of y'all. Chin Smoke. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Davis. All of y'all, man. Muhammad Amatola. Every one of y'all, man, that slid through here to show love. All the newbies that signed up today. Welcome to the fam. Everybody that sit on the playback. Much love. Canelo did it, man. He did it. And no one's seen him stopping Sergey Kovalev in this fashion. Man, we're going to expand this conversation. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Much love. Hit the thumbs up for me on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Main Man Made Man. Until the next video. Peace out.